Welcome back, dear viewers. You're still watching The Breakfast Show live on Nile TV International. And as we mentioned in our introduction, we're going to be shedding the light on Christmas celebrations here in Egypt. And Christmas, of course, is an annual festival commemorating the birth of Jesus Christ and observed most commonly on December 25th as a religious and cultural celebration among millions of people across the globe. And Christmas, of course, in Egypt is a joyful occasion that is celebrated by Christians as well as it is also respected by Muslims. And the Coptic Christmas in Egypt follows the old calendar and takes place on the 6th of January. And to shed more light on this topic, we're most delighted to be joined over the phone by Dr. Adel Hamza, tourism expert. A very good morning, doctor, and thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning.
Doctor, first of all, if you can tell us about the most important aspects of celebrating Christmas here in Egypt.
As you know, of course, in Egypt we have a lot of tourists in these days. So in all the places which is attracted by the tourists in Egypt in these days and the foreigners who are living in Egypt right now today, there are a lot of celebrations about Christmas or for Christmas in the hotels, big hotels, of course, and the places which is famous for having a lot of foreigners living in Cairo and in all other cities in Egypt today. First of all, I say Merry Christmas for all of them. And the Egyptian Christmas, as you know, it's on the 7th of January for the Egyptian Copts who are living in Egypt. So in these days, if you like to celebrate the Christmas, you are not going to find any differences between Cairo and any cities in Europe. If you go to any hotel tonight, you will find Santa Claus giving gifts to the kids, celebrating. You feel like you are in a city in Europe.
Yes, indeed. Dr. Adel, also, if you can walk us through the most important aspects of celebrating Christmas here in Egypt.
There are a lot of aspects to celebrate Christmas. As I said, you find Santa Claus in all the hotels starting from the afternoon of tonight until the end of tomorrow. You will find a lot of celebrations in most of the hotels. In most of the malls, big malls in Egypt, you find the people celebrating the Christmas. A lot of hypermarkets, they are selling the trees of the Christmas. You'll find a lot, even Egyptians, they are celebrating this. They don't actually differentiate between Egyptians or Muslims or Christians. They are all the same, celebrating as the Christmas for them is something, they don't feel any embarrassing in celebrating. In Egyptian houses also they have trees. They lighting the trees. They are thinking that this is a good habit to make the kids happy. This is one of the things which is saying that Egypt is country of all religions.
Yes, indeed. Also, Dr. Adel, if you can also tell us, aside from decorations, are there any traditions associated with Christmas here in Egypt?
The decoration, mostly the tree of the Christmas. Most of the people, they buy the tree of the Christmas, decorate it with lights, with some other, stars and balls and a lot of colors. They make it like, habit in Egypt, not a religious celebration for one of the religions. They make it like habit in Egypt to have a Christmas tree in their houses. The shops, even the shops in the streets, most of the shops in the streets, they celebrate the Christmas by buying these trees and decorating the trees, and they give it the touch of the Oriental taste. Like not like Europe, but they give it the Oriental taste. They use some Oriental shapes and Oriental things to decorate the Christmas tree. In my opinion, this is attracting the tourists to come to see something different than Europe. And this is, of course, a very good way to attract tourists to Egypt in that time of the year. A lot of tourists coming from different countries to celebrate the Christmas here. You find all the hotels in Egypt are very crowded, are maybe full of occupancy, because they like to celebrate that in Egypt, where the place of the pyramids and where the place of the old touristic attractions in the world.
Dr. Adel, as we celebrate Christmas, a surprising number of Egyptian traditions have survived from ancient pharaonic Egypt, and perhaps also one of the most striking is the Coptic calendar. Could this reflect how Egyptians are sticking to their or abide by their traditions, no matter how old or historic they are?
Of course, as you said, the Egyptian usually connecting between the celebrations or the habits or the occasions in the history with the Egyptian pharaonic days. The Egyptian months or the Coptic months related to the Egyptian months, as you know, they are connecting between it and the weather. The weather in Egypt in that time, they gave the name of one of the months, the Coptic months in Egypt, to some of the pharaonic names or the pharaonic habits which used to be in the pharaonic era. For example, they ate some of the food, some of the traditional food, which is related to the pharaonic, who used to eat this kind of food in that days. It's still the habit. The Coptic came and they are eating the same foods in this year or in that month. Later on, the Muslims came and they have the same habits of eating the food of this era. So it's mixed. It's mixed between Coptic, Islamic, pharaonic, sometimes Jewish habits, which is altogether mixed between pharaonic habits, Coptic habits, Jewish habits, Islamic habits. You cannot feel actually, or you cannot differentiate between the celebrations of the Egyptian in different occasions between the pharaonic era or the Coptic era or the Jewish era. It's something, related to the community of Egypt. And this is the best thing in Egypt. The best thing in Egypt, that everything is mixing with each other. You cannot say that this is Christian or this is Muslim or this is pharaonic. Even in the designs of the constructions, you find a mix between everything. Islamic like Christians, like Jewish, all of them. You can find it in mosque, you can find it in a church, you can find it in synagogue. So this is the beauty of Egypt.
Yes, indeed. We are wishing you, Dr. Adel, a very Merry Christmas and happy holidays and also a great year ahead. Thank you so much, Dr. Adel Hamza, tourism expert, for being with us on The Breakfast Show. And dear viewers, by this we come to the end of today's episode of The Breakfast Show. You're in the company of myself, Karim Gamaluddin, and my colleague, Dina Hussein. Until we meet again, this is goodbye.